about the classics. So if you clicked on this and you think you're gonna get that aquatic, bubblegummy, sweet gourmand garbage, you're not getting that today. Not from the Fragtastic Mr. Fox. He's gonna talk about some manly ass fragrances. Take it back to the 80s, maybe the early 90s. We might go back further, but I gave him my Untouchables list and he enjoyed them. I didn't force him anything. He said he loves them. So keep your eyeballs on the screen, and this buddy over here is gonna take over. Yeah, you like this? I wish I could pick my fucking arms up. Hello and welcome to the Fragtastic Mr. Fox. My name is Chris, and today I'm gonna get into my joy and my love for some vintage classic style masculine fragrances. Been a big fan of these for a very long time, and as I've been on my journey in fragrance, you know, I do a lot of the new designers and some niche stuff, and you know, I just love fragrance overall, but there's something about these old school masculine scents that just have been resonating with me more and more. So in this part one of my vintage style, men's masculine classic style fragrances, I'd like to talk about 6 of them. With that said, if you like fragrance content and all that stuff, please like the video, comment below, let me know if you've tried any of these, if you've ever gotten into these style of fragrances. I love hearing people's stories. If you hate them, love them, whatever the case may be, I love to hear it. Also subscribe and hit that bell, and you'll be notified when I drop new content. All I can say is thank you for watching, and let's get into it. First fragrance is, I believe in the early 90s, around 92. Very popular fragrance. It's still made today. It's gone through a bunch of reformulations, but still the reformulation is very good. I have the EDT concentration, and it's from the House of Guerlain. Let's make sure I get a good shot of it. And this is an older style bottle. The newer bottle's a little more squared off. So it's maybe a formulation or 2 before the new one. There's an EDP concentration that I have a smaller bottle of a newer formulation but I tend to lean on the EDT. It has better performance to me. The other one sits a little closer to the skin, but let's get into it. Actually, this was created by Jean Paul Guerlain himself. So with this one, I say it's a spicy oriental. It feels dated, but it also has a modern feel to me. It's classy, it's refined, it's warm, it's authentic. It's could be signature scent worthy. And I don't like to put fragrances in seasons, but this will perform better in, I'd say, spring, fall, winter time, and on cooler days or nights in summer because of the complexity of it. So it opens with like a spicy lavender. The mid is more of a citrus floral kind of vibe. And on the dry down, which is one of my favorites, it's got this creamy, spicy, slightly citrusy sandalwood dry down. Now, it's just, if you're looking to get into your masculine classic style fragrances, because this has a very classical feel to it. I mean, we're still going back to 92, but still some of these are a lot older on this list. This is a great starter one. It's not too expensive. The new formulations, I'd say between, depending the discount and size of the bottle, between $35 to $60. Some bigger bottles might be more. But like I said, if you search around, this is some classy, beautiful, great office scent, great anytime scent to me. One of my favorites of Guerlain Heritage. Beautiful stuff, guys. Second on this list, I have a new formulation, and I follow a gentleman that does his classics. He goes by Sense of South Jersey, Kellen. Great guy. I follow him on Instagram. He goes by Sense of South Jersey. And he sent me a few samples when I bought a vintage bottle of Caesar's Man Legendary, which I'll do a review on my part 2 of this video. Sent me a little decant of Boss Bottle #1 Vintage. I do have a newer formulation as well, so that's what the newer one looks like. You could get it between, I found this one actually in a Ross for like 15 bucks. So keep your eyes open. But I've seen it on discounters between $25 to $40, depending where you look. I believe came out in '85. I'm gonna put the decant down. It definitely is another one. It has a very powerful masculine persona. It opens fresh with this like nice nutmeg and cardamom. The heart has this patchouli sandalwood. It's got this these balsamic accords that make it very, very masculine. Like the last fragrance, these have a buttload of notes. So that's why I'm not really getting into notes today. I might do individual reviews down the line on these things, but it's one of my favorites. Oh man, it's just so good. It's got this kind of fresh spicy opening. It's got, you know, once again, a classic 80s opening with the sage, lavender, bergamot. It's just so beautiful in my opinion. Compared to the vintage, now the reformulation is actually really good. This is a really good reformulation. I wouldn't hesitate buying this and searching all over for a vintage bottle. The only difference I would say is the notes in this are kicked up a little bit more, like the oak moss, some of the florals. It's got a little bit more bite, not that much more, maybe like an hour more of like longevity. It's got a little bit more powerful kick to it. A lot of reviewers explain and people say that this has like a men's urinal cake vibe, that it's got a urine kind of smell. I don't really get that. I could see maybe what they're saying, but in the new formulation, everything's kind of toned down slightly. And maybe it's a little bit more wearable than if you find a good vintage batch of it. But guys, this is, you know, definitely office scent, dressing up, some classy stuff. I mean, a lot of these 80s scents are more of like, you know, when you're going out and you're dressing up a bit, and good for a meeting. It is a little bit just like the last one, an older demographic, maybe 25 and up, unless you really like your classic scents. Boss Bottle #1, one of my favorites. Another great classic men's profile to check out. Number 3 is, I have a older vintage batch, not like super old. I didn't look up like when this actual batch was made. You can still get it today. It goes between 30 to 50 bucks I've seen, and you can find vintage batches, which I haven't tried the latest version of it. So this one might be like the Boss, a little more amped up with some of the notes. Bowling Green by Jeffrey Bean, New York. And oh man, I love this stuff. It's become one of my favorite scents. So this one is, I believe, came out in '86. If you like the Drakkar Noir, it's in that same vein. But to me, this is a much brighter, way greener style of that fougere. To me, it's like almost like a fougere and a chypre kind of hybrid. That's to me. But it's aromatic, it's super herbal, it's woody, it's citrusy. It's got a very fresh, very green cut grass, like grassy nature to it. That's in the opening is really prominent. That you get your citruses and this like fresh cut grass kind of accord to my nose, the way the notes blend. Another one that has a million notes in this: florals, citruses, woody notes, but this is one of my most uplifting scents. And if you like I said, the Drakkar Noir style of a fragrance, but you want something a little bit more bright and uplifting, Bowling Green by Jeffrey Bean, New York. If you like Drakkar Noir, Bowling Green is just so good, but you have to like that kind of very herbal, grassy kind of opening. When it settles, it gets very soft and the woody notes kind of take over. But another one to check out. They still make it today, I believe. I see it. It's not that hard to get. I've seen it on Fragrance Buy and Fragrance Net pop up, and you could get a pretty good price on eBay. Just watch your sellers. But guys, this is another beautiful, great springtime fall, signature scent worthy. All these fragrances to me you could wear. This one I think you could get away with more in the summertime because of its brightness and grassy nature. Amazing stuff. Here we go. Another one. Now we're going back. This I think came out in the late 70s. I'd say between 75 and 80, maybe. I think it was 76 when I looked it up last. You could get this. It's at your local rack stores for super cheap. You could get it for like 10 bucks a bottle. This is the formulation is 1-12 by Halston. So we have Halston. Like I said, you could get this cheap on discounters. This is not a vintage batch. It's a newer formulation. So performance is not the greatest. I get like 4 to 6 hours on my skin. But this is a great starter because you're not going to spend a lot of money. And it's out of some of these classic scent profiles, I'd say Heritage is very easy wear. Boss could be a little bit more challenging, and Jeffrey Beam might be a little bit more challenging if you're not that used to like bright green notes or prominent green notes. But this one as a reformulation, so classy, aromatic. It's got this soapy but mature nature. It's got its green and lemon notes, but subtle. A lot of people compare this to Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. I feel like this gets a little bit more soapy and goes in a different direction, but I see what people are saying. But this is a very comforting, barber shoppy, out of the shower, very refreshing. I mean, my buddy Mackie, his wife actually wears this. She's obsessed with this scent. So hey, some of the masculines, unisex. I know women that love these style of barbershop fragrances that they wear for personal, just to smell it. It's class on a budget. It settles, like I said, it's soapy with citrus, piney, green nature. It's just a feeling of being clean. If you like those barbershop style fragrances, even in, I could say, same direction, but not the same smell as a Drakkar. I use Drakkar as a backbone because it's so popular. It was like the Aventus of its time. So a lot of people have tried Drakkar Noir, even some of the younger cats. So if you like clean, soapy barbershop fragrances on a budget, this one, Halston 1-12, easygoing, super cheap. If you don't like it, it's not going to break the bank for $10 if you find it at a Ross. Next on the list, another one you can find at Ross, rack stores, super cheap on Amazon, discounters, a little bit more challenging, or could be a lot more challenging. We're going to 1981, and this is Quorum. Now this one, again, in the same vein of the Halstons, man, I just love this scent. It took me actually a minute for it to grow on me. I've had it for years on and off, and this is not the first bottle, but I took a break from my classics and then picked this up. This is a newer formulation, and it's fine for me. I don't need to dig deep. I'm sure the vintage, I haven't put my nose on a vintage, is way more potent because there's, the oak moss in it and all that stuff. But to me, this is a smoky green bomb. Spicy, it's mossy, it's got tobacco in it, some wormwood, this woodsy leather type vibe. I get more of a suede vibe. But this is a powerhouse. This is one that, your grandfathers and your fathers, it's like probably have worn. Super manly stuff. A lot of these, this is not going to be compliment beast by ladies, but I'll tell you one thing. If you wear anything with confidence, I've worn some of these out, and I'm not as young as I look, and I've had some younger women say you smell great, and these are some timeless classics. But this has a very green, and when I say smoky, when it dries down on my skin, I get this kind of like barbershoppy vibe, but it smells like you're a smoker and you smoke some cigarettes during the day, so your cologne is mixed with like that smoky cigarette smell. I get this out of that. For me, I love it. You could dress it up, you could dress it down. I don't like to put these fragrances in categories or any fragrance. For cheap, it's a classic, it's a staple in a collection. I love Quorum. Check out Quorum. There's a silver version as well. It's a bit lighter. Goes in a little bit of a different direction, but the original for me is, it's awesome. It's timeless. Last but not least, another, I'm getting a full bottle, so I'll probably do a full review on this one, but another decant that was sent to me by Kellen from Sense of South Jersey is Worth Quorum, and I have this little decant of Worth Quorum, but I've put a nice little dent in it. It's a 5 ml bottle, but I've used about 2 mils of it. Now this one, in the same vein, we're going back. I couldn't find the exact date this was made. I mean, I know they've had fragrances dating back to like 1932, but I'm unsure if this is 69, 72. I kept getting different time periods of, it just wasn't really clear. So if you know what year this came out, leave a comment below and let me know. But this is another one, an aromatic, super green. It's warm. It's a very relaxing scent to me. It's compared to Paco Rabanne Pour Homme, but I feel like it goes in a different direction. Maybe a little soapier. The dry down doesn't really remind me of it. It's smooth. It's spicy. It's got a woody backbone to it. It's super green. It's funny to me. This one, it opens up, and I'm gonna spray it on my skin. It opens up, and it might be the batch, I'm not sure. When I get the new bottle, I can really contrast and compare. But it has a very kind of briny, pickly, like a pickle juice opening, which is not bad. It doesn't last very long. Then it goes into, it's more of that Barber Shop-y. The dry down on this is one of my favorite dry downs. It's so classy, and I've gotten actually compliments when I've worn this out. And we're talking an old school fragrance once again. But there's something about it. All these fragrances, and what I love about vintage is this sophistication, this classy, masculine vibe to it. And I love my newer designers in the modern age of perfumery as well. I mean, just love perfumery and fragrances. But, you know, some of them, the newer ones, the Sauvages, this, that, and the third that are very popular today are very, you know, bubble gummy. They're sweet, very aquatic. They're just different. You know, they appeal more to a wider audience, especially men, women. They're more unisex these days. And this kind of takes it back to those classic times. And I think that's what I enjoy. And it might be my age, but there's something about these scent profiles, and I'm getting really into my mosses, like oak moss and my green notes. I'm loving green fragrances lately. So with that said, another one, if you could find it, this one's a little harder to find. Bottles I've seen are $50, $60, but you know, maybe down the line, if you start getting into it, your classic vintage style, you'll keep going down the rabbit hole, because that's what happens in fragrance. You want to smell the next one, the next one, the next one, and find it's just an exciting thing for some of us. So that's my part one of some of my favorite vintage classic style fragrances. Like I said, please let me know in the comments below if you've tried any of these. Definitely been an amazing part of my fragrance journey, and to step back a little bit. And I've been wearing these style fragrances a lot, like really mixing them into my rotations, that wearing my newer stuff and some of the more popular in today's time, but also wearing these as well. So when I do my eventually some of my 7-day fragrance things, you'll see a lot of mix up of things that I wear. I appreciate you stopping by. Check out your classics. They're amazing. You go, you know, it's history if you're really into fragrance. And you learn a lot, and you know, and you're training your nose in a different direction. But with that said, always smell foxy. Love what you do, and stay safe out there. And I always have a lot of love for you. Peace.